All rise for the jury.
Everybody, welcome back. Good morning. You ready to get back to work? Yes. Gentlemen?
Yes.
Your next witness?
Your Honor, based on the parties' agreement at this point, Sergeant Pekman from the State Police is being represented. I know Mr. Sheik has some questions, and we left off at a point where we were going to bring him back to court today.
Okay, where is he at?
He is right here.
Sir, do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
And again, your first name?
Raymond.
And your last name?
Pekman, P-E-C-H-M-A-N.
Have a seat. Speak loud. Thank you.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Detective.
sir.
How are you?
Good.
I trust you had a restful weekend.
Somewhat.
I'm going to ask you some questions that may seem to go all over, but they're just based on the direct and the redirect that you were asked when you were here last, okay?
Okay.
During your investigation, did you have an opportunity to photograph or inspect the K-Swiss shoes that Mr. VanCallis turned over?
Yes.
Okay. And did you find any oil on them, if you recall?
No.
Did you check them in any way for oil other than visibly?
I even visibly, I wasn't checking for oil. I wasn't looking for oil.
So they could or could not be oil on them, or traces?
Could be traces.
And you were out at VanCallis' home several times, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember seeing a cherry picker there by the driveway?
No, I don't recall that.
Okay. And for just so, ladies and gentlemen, the jury that are not familiar with cherry picker, would you indicate what that is?
Are you talking the electronic one that you would get on and control yourself to go up?
I'm not sure if it's electronic or not electronic, but the thing used to take engines up, out of cars.
Oh, an engine hoist?
Right.
Oh, yeah, there might have been an engine hoist in the driveway. I was thinking you were asking something else.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I asked because that's what I thought a cherry picker was. Okay, but you did see something like that engine.
Yeah, I believe there might have been an engine hoist in the driveway.
Could you remember if the bottoms of the K-Swiss shoes are white or what color they are, the bottoms?
I believe they're white. They were dirty. The shoes were older, but I believe the soles were pretty much white.
Did you also see cat litter out by the side of the house, by any of the entrances?
No, not that I observed.
And then that would have been of significance, correct?
Correct.
You talked to Donnie, which is Mr. VanCallis' brother, a couple of times in this investigation, or no?
I never talked to Donnie.
You never talked to Donnie?
No, sir.
And when you did talk to Mr. VanCallis, he indicated to you that he had called his brother Donnie?
The defendant, yes.
And he had also indicated he had called Craig, if that rings a bell, his brother-in-law?
No, that doesn't ring a bell.
Could he have, and it just didn't come up, or you don't remember if it ever came up?
I don't recall it coming up.
And after this investigation started, were the phones of some people taken into custody, not necessarily by yourself, but as in furtherance of this investigation?
I believe there were some phones taken and analyzed, yes.
Now, did you by chance have an opportunity to go back to the Marathon gas station or go there at all to pick up the video?
I did not collect any videos, no.
Did you go there at all on the 25th, if you recall, the day after this incident, to speak to the employees?
I don't believe I went to the Marathon, no.
Just so we're clear, you never went to the Marathon at all in furtherance of this investigation, is that?
Not that I recall going there, no. Not the Marathon.
Now, did you see the photograph of the defendant where they're alleging he's wearing some black and white shoes standing next to an SUV? Did you get an opportunity to see that photograph?
I believe I did.
Okay. And he's in fact standing next to an SUV, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask that I'm going to approach you with two exhibits. Defense proposed exhibit A, defense proposed exhibit B, which are the captures of the cameras from the Marathon gas station. I'm going to ask, Your Honor, for them to be admitted into evidence. Any objection?
No. No, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, you have A and B?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, they're admitted?
And just for the record, A is the front camera and B is the back camera. And we would respectfully ask Detective Keith if he could play A.
A is in front, did you indicate?
Yes.
Okay. That's camera 5, I think it's marked?
Yes, camera 5.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes. Detective, would you maybe step a little closer here? Maybe borrow this?
Yes.
Would you indicate the time on that video? Or the date, I'm sorry.
The date is 7/24/2014.
Okay, and the time, sir?
Looks to be 1700 hours.
And just for...
6:17 p.m.
Okay, exactly. And do you have any reason to know if that's off or not?
I do not know if it's off or not. I know the techs do the verification when they pick it up at time.
Did you see a motorcycle exiting?
Yep, there's a motorcycle right there.
And do you see a sign up here next to the motorcycle?
Yeah, looks like there's a sign there.
Do you know anything about that sign?
No, sir.
Okay, if I told you that that sign said no left turn, would you have any reason to dispute that?
If you saw the sign and told me that, I wouldn't have a reason, no. I don't know what the sign says.
Okay. Mr. Keith, can we play that one more time? From the beginning, please. You see a motorcycle come up here, make a right, and then a little bit go back to the left. Can you tell what color hoodie that person's wearing, or jacket, or... Can you tell what color trousers that person's wearing?
Just looks dark colored on the video.
Can you tell if there's in fact a helmet?
Yeah, it appears there's a helmet.
We're looking at the time here, 18/17/30, and I think is that the same motorcycle, to the best of your understanding, that we see coming back?
Yes.
Okay. And sir, this is the south side of the street, is that correct, from your recollection?
The south side of the main street?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the south side, the camera's pointing north.
Okay, and that would be north, right?
Yep.
And that would be west,
Correct.
and this would be east, right?
Correct.
Did you ever come to find out where Donnie lives? He lives in the city of Armada?
Yeah.
Okay, and that
Well, he
is-
lives outside of the village of Armada. He lives to the west.
He lives to the west.
Correct.
So if the defendant were in fact going to his brother's house, he would need to go in the west direction, correct?
Correct.
As that motorcycle is going, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Could you please play number 9, which is the exhibit B, defense exhibit B? This again, sir, could you state the date if you can see it?
Looks like, that's actually pretty hard to read there.
Okay, one more time, please. You can see a motorcycle. Motorcycle go that way. Do you know what angle of,
Is that camera facing?
Yes, sir.
It's facing west.
it's facing west?
And that would be Church Street, and that motorcycle's going south on Church Street from Main Street.
From Main Street.
Correct.
Thank you. You may have a seat. Detective Pekman, do you know that if this particular video that we saw is in its original format, or is this the enhanced version, if you know?
I would not know.
Okay. Do you know that it was enhanced by the FBI?
Do I know if it was?
Yes.
I do not know.
Okay, just 1 second. I'll make this up. Detective, if you get a chance, let me know when you're ready with camera 5 of the enhanced version. Okay? Detective Pekman, I'm going to ask you to step back down here.
Okay.
You're going to see the same video once it's been enhanced by the FBI to try to provide additional quality. And I just want you to take a look at it and tell me if you pick up more than what you did in the regular version, okay?
Okay.
Trooper. Steve, when you're ready, if you could play the enhanced version of camera 5. Are you in a better position to identify the color of the clothes?
They look dark colored.
Okay. Not significantly different than non-enhanced version?
No, not where I can pick out color, no.
Again, the time and everything is the same, correct?
Correct.
2014, 7/24, 18/17. Sir, do you know what the CIF stands for?
No, I do not.
This will be camera 9 version enhanced. And again, were you able to see anything different on enhanced version than?
Nothing different than the other video, no.
Thank you, Detective Peake. You may have a seat, sir.
Mr. Sheik, do we want to admit that, or do you just want us to stay? I think it should be admitted.
Okay. We'll admit those, Your Honor. We'll get those in
I thought I
in
already
format.
did.
No, those were, Your Honor, the enhanced versions. The enhanced versions will be C and D.
Okay. Third and-
Judge, it'll just be C, because it'll be on one.
It'll be on one. It'll be C. It'll be the enhanced video of both of these shots on one DVD, so it'll be C. Let's see. I think this may be my last question. Detective, from where the gas station is, the camera was facing north, correct?
Correct?
Okay. This person goes originally east and then west, correct? The
Correct.
motorcycle, and then goes south on Church, correct?
Correct.
And that would be going in the direction of Donnie's house, correct? It would be south and
South
west.
on Church actually goes in the direction of the trail.
Well, the trail as well as Donnie's house is also to the south of there, correct?
No, Donnie's house would be to the east. If you stayed on Main Street, the one that's going across the front of the, you can run Main Street, there's a light, the very next block is a light in the center of Armada. You continue on right through, and that goes down on an angle, right, dumps you right onto Donnie's Street.
So are you saying that Donnie's house is perfectly
Donnie's house is,
where the gas station is?
it would be southwest of the village.
Okay.
But that Main Street, as you go out of town to the west, that's Armada Ridge. That Main Street curves, it starts making a curve and it runs southwest. Ultimately, it takes you directly down to Donnie's Street, where you can make a right, and his house is right there on your left.
Okay, but another way to go would be to go west and then go south. I mean, it is in the west and south direction, is that correct?
You could get that way. It would take you a lot longer way, because you'd have to then go south out of town and run it all the way down to 32 Mile Road and then cut across. So
Do you know if that would also be the way to the Tim Hortons and Romeo? Would that be that in that direction?
Tim Hortons and Romeo, I believe, is at like 32 in Van Dyke. So yeah, if you were going to go down that way, you could also go that way as well.
To Tim Hortons and then to Don. Just one second. Thank you for coming back. Appreciate your cooperation, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Sergeant Pekman, if you know, are you aware that Special Agent Hess worked on this case?
Yes, I am.
And are you aware that he had his phone, he located the defendant's phone connecting to a tower at about 20 to 25 minutes earlier in Romeo? Are you aware of that? About 5:55?
Yes.
Okay. A couple of other questions. Maybe we can actually work from this. Can you come down here?
Yes.
I'm going to have this map put up. I don't want it to be hidden from any of the jurors. Could you look at this map for a second and orient yourself? And I'm going to use pointer. Do you recognize this being Donald VanCallis' the location of his home?
Yes.
Do you recognize this being the area of the village of Armada?
Yes, this area here.
Right in there? And if we have April Millsap's residence located here, does that look familiar to you?
Yes, it does.
We also have the marathon right here depicted in this. And by the way, I'm referring to People's Exhibit 30. We have this location of James Muse's house. You've already testified you stopped at that location.
Correct.
And first observed the defendant's motorcycle.
Correct.
And this position being where April Millsap's phone was located. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I am.
We just watched a video and you were asked some questions. Now, I know this is kind of a version of this, but it appears that the motorcycle pulls out going northbound and then turns eastbound, comes back westbound, and then proceeds southbound. Is that correct?
Correct.
And Church Street runs southbound through Armada towards the Macomb Orchard Trail. Is that correct? Now, if the person on that motorcycle turned and was just continuing past the Marathon and wanted to drive down this way, they could make their way toward down VanCallis. So
That would be the most direct route. Correct.
but the person on that motorcycle turned towards the trail.
Correct.
And we have the time, it was it 6:17 thereabouts?
Yes, it was.
All right, we're going to put that down. You can go ahead and have a seat. Craig, could you put up People's Exhibit 20, please? That is the bottom of the sheet. Sergeant Pekman, do you recognize that from your earlier testimony as being a photograph taken while you were out at the defendant's residence on July 25th?
Yes, I do.
And that's a picture of the bottom of the K-Swiss.
Yes.
Did you do anything to, I guess, create sort of these soil marks here that you see, what I'm calling soil marks? Did you do anything to create that?
No.
And likewise, did you or the other troopers who were with you, Trooper Hoffman, and I know there was another individual with you, clean off any oil from the bottom of those shoes?
No, that picture depicts exactly how those shoes, the condition they were when they were handed to me.
I'm going to show you a couple more photos so you can stay standing for a second. I'm going to show these to Council first. I'm going to show you what I've shown council. These are people's proposed 164 and 165. Starting with 164, do you recognize what that is?
Yeah, that's the defendant's motorcycle.
All right, and that's a photograph, like a side view of it,
Side
almost
view.
perpendicular to the motorcycle.
Yes.
And 165, do you recognize what that is?
That's a picture of the defendant holding his motorcycle.
Now, you testified earlier that you went back to the defendant's residence on July 26th in the morning hours to attempt to obtain a written statement. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Do you recall the time frame that People's proposed 165, that photograph was taken?
That would be in the area of 11 a.m.
So is this on the 26th? Is this during that
It's on the
visit, I guess,
26th. I believe I showed up somewhere in the area about 10:30 in the morning
All right.
at his residence. There was some conversation, then we went to the side, so that was probably taken closer to about 11 a.m.
This is at the defendant's residence?
Yes.
And, all right, I would move to admit 164 and 165.
We have no objection, Your Honor.
You're admitted.
Could you put 164 up just so the jury can see the full photograph? You testified this is a side view of the motorcycle,
Yes, it is.
and that is the defendant's motorcycle.
Yes, it is.
All right, could you put 165 up, please? Now, there's a couple things in this I wanted to ask you about. You indicated this was taken the morning of the 26th?
Correct.
Could you point out, first of all, we have a picture, is that the motorcycle?
That's the motorcycle,
Who's holding the motorcycle?
the defendant.
And who's the person to the right, just so the jury knows who that is?
That's FBI Special Agent Shannon Smith.
Okay. And you were asked a question earlier about a hoist or something being at the location. Do you see that now in this photograph?
Right. This would be a engine hoist.
That's
Pull
what-
an engine out of a vehicle or to lift an engine.
Okay. And we see this driveway curving around, and maybe we'll take out and we'll move to an aerial shot just so the jury can see exactly what we're looking at if they don't have that frame of reference. Did you notice, as this photograph was being taken, like piles of oil or stains of oil on the concrete?
No, none.
Could you, we've used, I don't have these sitting numbers, we have an exterior shot looking down from an aerial shot. the side view. All right. Using that photograph now, can you orient us where that picture was when the defendant was standing next to his motorcycle?
Yeah, the picture, I would have been maybe in this area. He would be right here. The picture would be a shot taken this way. This would be the tires you could see in that photo that were next to the engine hoist right here. So the photo would be taken this way.
Okay. And then as the driveway then curves around behind that photo, we have it coming out right here?
Correct. This would
Into
be
this
the curve
direction.
that goes that way.
Okay. This is a, I guess what you call a zoomed-in aerial of that same area, is that correct?
Correct.
From this view, do you observe puddles of oil or oil stains or?
No.
Okay. Did you or the state police do anything to clean those up before the photographs were taken?
No, we did not.
Is that something you would normally do when you're out
No, we
investigating?
would not. Never.
You can go ahead and sit down again. Regarding the marathon videos, the jury saw both the FBI enhanced as well as the raw video, I guess, or a portion of that raw video in the relevant time frame. Did you or the FBI, to your knowledge, in looking at that, add or pull anything out within the same time frame? In other words, is there something omitted to change the view?
No.
One moment, Judge. I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Just a few brief questions. First of all, you weren't really looking for oil stains diligently with that in mind, were you?
No,
Try
I
to
was,
document oil stains or not,
I
correct?
was not looking for oil stains, no.
Okay. And you don't know how long the VanCallis have lived there, and if they were oil stains and they've been cleaned up or cleaned up recently or a long time ago or anything like that, correct?
I have no knowledge of that, no.
So just on that particular day that you were there, you didn't see oil stains, and that's what you would be qualified to testify to, correct?
Correct.
Now, as far as that map that we looked at, where we have the Marathon gas station, we have Miss Millsap's home, and then we have Donnie's home down here, keeping in that direction, where would that put the Tim Hortons in Romeo? Is it
Further west,
further west?
correct, off the map.
Okay,
Off
so-
that map to the west.
So more west of Donnie's, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this video was taken about 6:17 or so, so if somebody is just wanting to avoid Main Street traffic and they went down Church, you don't know what other street they would have turned, or there would have been several options if they headed west again, correct? Towards Donnie's or towards the Romeo Tim Hortons. In other words, if you see the video and you see a motorcycle turning south on Church Street, it doesn't indicate how far that person went south on Church, whether they went up to the trail, whether they went past the trail, whether they went before the trail.
Well, you can't go past the trail.
You can't go
That
past.
street ends there, so if you turn right, if you're going south on Church, you turn right, you'll have a couple options.
Okay.
Any of those options are going to put you on that main street, Fulton, that goes north and south. No matter what, you're going to have to go on that street.
Okay, and then eventually that can take you to a number of options that you have to go west, correct?
It would take you out of town. Your next option wouldn't be till down 32 Mile Road would be
Okay,
your
and
next
that's-
option.
And that's towards the Romeo.
You
Tim
you
Hortons.
can take, yeah, 32
Mile
to,
Road.
yeah, correct.
Just 1 second. One last question. So if you're going up in that direction where we see the motorcycle going, is there a bank at Fulton Street that you know of that if you make a right, you're headed west again?
Is there a bank?
At Fulton and Main Street. Fulton and Main Street.
Yeah, I believe there's a bank at the corner, would be the southwest corner of Fulton and Main.
And that's the general direction that motorcycle appears to be headed, right, south and west?
No, it's not going, it's going south on Church.
Well, south at that point, but originally, I mean, when it leaves the gas station, it's going west, correct?
When it leaves the gas station, it goes east.
Right.
The video you showed me, it goes
Right.
east, turns around, comes back west.
Right.
And then goes southbound on Church.
Okay.
And
So
then we don't,
Go ahead.
right, and then the bank's not there, though. The bank would have been if it continued west on that main street instead of going south on Church. You'd go to the bank, would be the next intersection right there.
And then you could make a right at the bank and go west, correct?
Not from Church, no.
No, from Fulton and Depot.
Yeah, from Fulton, if he were to continue west and not turn south on Church, he would just stay right on that main street. You'd go through the light at the next intersection, you'd continue on that same street, you wouldn't turn right or left, you would continue on. That would take you out of town. That's that road that curves down to the southwest that ultimately goes right to Donnie Street.
Okay, but if you did turn down Church, once you got to the bank, you could go right and go west?
There's no church, there's no bank at the church.
Suffice it to say, some may be the optimum way, some may not be the optimum way, but those directions also lead to Donnie's and to the Tim Hortons, correct?
You could ultimately get that way.
Thank you, sir. Nothing
You're welcome.
further.
Thank you, sir. You're excused.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your next witness.
Jason April.
Sir, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth?
I do.
Your first name,
Jason?
your last name?
April, A-B-R-O.
Okay, have a seat and please speak loud.
Morning.
Morning.
Would you indicate to the jury how you're employed?
I'm employed with the Macomb County Sheriff's Office as a lieutenant.
How long have you been a lieutenant with the Macomb County Sheriff's Department?
Just recently, within the last month.
Prior to that, what rank did you hold?
A detective sergeant.
I see that you're not in uniform. Is that the, I guess, dress if you're not a road patrol officer?
Correct. I usually wear a suit and tie daily.
Were you employed by the Sheriff's Department? I guess how long have you been with the Sheriff's Department?
Approximately 16 years.
What was your position in July of 2014 with the Sheriff's Department?
Detective sergeant.
Were you eventually, I guess, assigned to the investigation of the murder of April Millsap?
I was.
Approximately, I guess, what date were you assigned?
I want to say it was approximately 3 weeks into August, approximately maybe August 20th or so.
Were you assigned with another detective?
I was.
And who was that?
Sergeant Melissa Stevens.
When you were assigned to assist in the investigation, well, I guess, where did you first go? How did you become involved in it?
I was asked to join the task force. I had met with the officer in charge of the case, Rebecca MacArthur.
What was, I guess, what were some of the tasks you were asked to perform at the start of this investigation?
The tasks were basically canvassing the area of Armada, looking for video surveillance, and following up on tips.
Were you part of the team that then went door to door in the residential neighborhoods?
Yes, sir.
Were you part of the team that went to the numerous businesses in the village of Armada?
Yes, sir.
What information were you seeking when you went to these places?
Basically, any and all information revolving around this specific incident. Any kind of evidence, video surveillance, any eyewitness information.
I guess were there daily briefings?
There was.
Each day were you assigned a different task or a different area to go to?
Yes, sir.
Through Chief Smith, we looked at a number of the tip sheets and a number of the canvas sheets. Were you asked to fill one of those out for every place that you went to?
Yes.
Did any of that information, I guess, what would you do with that information once you had filled out the form?
It was turned into Chief Smith.
What kind of questions would you ask the businesses when you were there?
Usually with the businesses, we were asking for video surveillance, and if anyone had seen anything, if anyone had observed anything suspicious on the day in question.
Were you instrumental in securing any security videos from any of the businesses?
I was not able to do so.
What about from any of the homeowners?
There was a residential home that video surveillance had been secured. It was someone from the task force.
At some point in time, did you and Detective Stevens get a request to look at Facebook images?
Yes.
When was that and where did you do that?
It was done at the task force headquarters, and I want to say it was a couple weeks after we had been part of the task force where Sergeant Stevens had pulled up a Facebook account.
I'm going to hand you People's Exhibit number 158. It's already been introduced. Would you take a look at that image? It will go up on the screen in just a second. And tell the jury how it was that that image was secured.
Sergeant Stevens had been conducting a search of the VanCallis Facebook page and had come across this photograph and conducted an investigation into the image, and eventually had saved it and turned it over to, I believe, Sergeant MacArthur.
What was important about this photograph as you and your partner were looking at the Facebook page?
The importance of the photograph was the shoes in question.
People's Exhibit number 159. Do then these shoes from Exhibit number 159 look consistent with the shoes that were being worn by Mr. VanCallis in that photograph?
They appear similar, correct?
You can't say that these are the exact shoes or not, but this was one of the items that you were asked to look for when you were participating in that search?
Correct, sir.
Did there come a point in time that you were asked to recreate a video for purposes of this investigation?
Yes, sir.
Would you explain to the jury what it was?
I was asked by the OIC in charge of this case, Sergeant MacArthur, to recreate the image of a motorcycle that had gone by a video surveillance system. I was asked to sit on that motorcycle and recreate an image comparable to the day in question.
Now, the video was testified to by homeowner Daniel Koss. Did you first take a look at the video?
I had, yes.
What was important about why you needed to review that video before you did a recreation?
Well, basically the direction of travel, the side of the bike that the image was captured.
Do you know approximately when you made the recreation?
First week of September.
Where was the bike stored up until that point?
The bike was stored over at Ballard's Towing.
Did you have a chance to look at that bike any time prior to doing this recreation?
I had not.
Did you test the bike or had any authority over that bike at all?
No, sir.
Did you know under what circumstances it was stored?
No.
Do you know whether the battery had been charged or not?
I did not know that.
How was the bike transported to the location?
It was transported in a secure trailer by Ballard's Towing over to the location.
Under the auspices of the law enforcement official present?
Correct.
Who was present, I guess, for this recreation?
I believe it was Sergeant MacArthur, Chief Howard Smith, Sergeant Stevens, myself, and it may have been someone else part of the task force as well.
Was Daniel Koss there?
I believe he was. I had not made any contact with him. He may have been inside the residence.
Who was the one ultimately then that secured the recreation video?
I believe it was Sergeant MacArthur.
Was the time of day important in which you did the recreation?
I guess we tried to get the time frame as exact as we, or as the time frame was of the day in question.
Now, you know this is a couple of months later.
Yes, sir.
You did see in the original video that the bike was in a shadow.
Yes.
Did you attempt to then do a similar time so that bike would remain in the shadow?
Yes, we tried to get it as best as we could to the time frame of the day in question.
Were you able to start the bike when you got it to the location?
No.
Was the battery charged or dead?
The battery was dead.
Were you then able to put the headlight on or not?
No, I was not able to.
Did you photograph it from the same camera that was used in the security video that you reviewed prior to going to the scene?
I believe that was secured by Sergeant MacArthur on the, as far as the video surveillance went.
Okay. But you knew what camera it was and the angle of the house, and you recreated from that angle?
Yes, sir.
As a result, I guess, of not being able to start it, were you able to I guess, duplicate the speed that it was traveling?
I was not able to duplicate the speed.
Your Honor, we did not make a disc. If I can talk to Adair for a second. Your Honor, I'm going to propose exhibit number 166 to be the video of the recreation by Lieutenant Avro for purposes of this case of the motorcycle that was in their custody, brought over to Daniel Koss's house and run past that same security video.
Your Honor, I would, this is a video that I have not seen. Is that correct, Mr. Costello?
No, I turned everything over
Well, okay, that's
in our
fine.
discovery. I will be certain that I would point it out to you here, but no, it was part of the original discovery.
May I approach Mr. Costello for a second?
Thank you.
If you could flip that light down, sorry. Lieutenant, now. Can you see?
Yes.
Hold on, time out. we could hold it right there for just a second. All right, would you explain now for the jury exactly where we are and if you recall the names of the streets? And
I do not recall the name of the streets. I do believe, though, you will see the bike in question.
keep your voice up, please.
I'm sorry. The bike in question come down the street here and then head here right in front of this residence.
And so, again, there is a shadow here in this area, consistent with the shadow from the original security video?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you were, go ahead and roll it. If you were unable to get the engine started, how did we make the motorcycle move?
Pretty much had to sit on the bike and pedal.
Like Fred Flintstone?
Pretty much.
All right. Not that how tall are you?
I'm not that tall. I'm about 5'7".
All right. How much do you weigh?
About 185.
All right. Just, I don't need to ask those embarrassing questions, but
That's fine.
you were the one seated on the bike in a sense that then just using your feet to move it forward and around?
Correct.
Okay. What color clothing did you have on?
I had dark colored clothing on, and also I had dark tennis shoes on.
Was there a reason for the dark clothing?
The information I was given was that the suspect in question had dark colored clothing on.
Do you have a helmet on?
I do not.
You're really going slow. He's coming, don't worry. I mean, next time we'll cue it better. That's like not you, right? You got a lot shorter all of a sudden. It's being powered the same way.
Pretty much. I believe originally the bike was blocked.
Okay. This doesn't like go on forever, does it? Correct? Do we get to a point where this? Yes. Oh, there you are. Okay. There we go.
I believe in that image that is being walked by Chief Howard Smith.
Okay. To that point?
To that point, correct. And then after this, really walked once and then sat on by me and then walked again.
This you right here.
I believe so.
Now this is once again Chief Smith walking the bike.
Correct.
good way to advance it, Craig, now to the next... All right, good order, you speak, Craig, thanks.
Excuse me, Lieutenant.
Are you getting on the bike now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we can stop that. Just remain standing. Leave the lights low if you would. I'm going to hand you a photograph. This is the People's Proposed Exhibit number 167. It's just this. And ask if you recognize what we did in that photograph.
I do. That's
Right.
me on the video surveillance, still image of me sitting on the bike as
Okay.
it crossed the homework driveway.
We would move for the introduction of People's Exhibit 167.
We're going to have no objection, Your Honor.
It's admitted.
Just go ahead and put that up on the screen if you would, Craig. All right, so basically that is you at this point indicating that, in fact, you're walking the bike past the camera?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, what were you asked to do with your security video or your recreation and the cost video?
I was basically just asked to look at the image itself and compare the image of the day in question.
Right, did you do so?
I did.
Okay. Did you create then a still as a result of the photographs that you used to make the comparison?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to hand you People's Proposed Exhibit number 168 and ask if that is a photograph that shows the side-by-sides that you created to do your review.
Yes, this is a side-by-side indicating the day in question and a side-by-side with myself sitting on the bike conducting the comparison.
At this time, Your Honor, we would move, I've shown the exhibit to Mr. Chief for the introduction of People's number 168.
No objection, Your Honor.
It's admitted.
All right, we're showing it to the jury. Okay, once again, this is the original, and that is you.
Yes, sir.
All right, would you start showing the jury what differences or similarities you found?
Well, as far as the differences that I located were that in this photograph here, you can see that the headlight of the motorbike was on. In this photograph here that I had been conducting, I was not able to start this bike or get it going at all. As far as the bike parts go, similarities from the day in question and the day that I had conducted the test were that you can see a part of the bike here, I believe it's a bar, and you can also see that same bar here as well. There's another part that's just above that. Looks like it's a grayish part of the bike. Here in this photograph, on the day in question and the day that I conducted the comparison. There's also, you can see that there's a fender, looks like it's, I believe it's white, all white in color, that's here in the back. It's split by, looks like maybe a tail light, and you can also see that in my comparison as well. There is a white, looks like it might be an image here that's not in my photograph at all on the day that I conducted the comparison.
Were you told the type of clothing that he indicated he was wearing?
I was told that it was dark colored clothing.
Okay.
Also, I was wearing black tennis shoes on the day in question that I conducted the test. It appears to me that there's a white object here, possibly a shoe.
What about the colors of the front fender?
When I looked at the bike does have a black fender as far as the front fender goes. As you can see that there's no white indicated here in the front on the day in question or the day that I conducted the comparison. However, the back fender is white on the day in question and when I conducted the comparison.
Are you, again, I guess at the time, you're not wearing a helmet?
I am not wearing a helmet.
And your feet are on the ground mostly because you're not in movement?
Correct, sir.
Hold on. As a result then of this information, was that also turned over to the task force for their review in this case?
Yes, sir.
At this time, I have no further questions, Lieutenant. Certainly, Mr. Sheik will have some.
Thank you.
Mr. Sheik, would you wish him standing, or do you want him seated?
Oh, you can sit down. And you should take that off. Good morning.
Morning.
First of all, I think I've known you over a decade. Congratulations.
Thank you,
I can't
sir.
imagine somebody more suited for the promotion than yourself, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm going to ask you a few questions just to put into perspective what we have here. How many times did you look at what we may refer to as a cost video, which is a homeowner's video?
Maybe once or twice.
Just once or twice?
Yes, sir.
And how many takes did it take to make these video that we saw today?
I actually didn't make the video. I conducted the comparison, and the video had been made by Sergeant MacArthur.
Sergeant who?
MacArthur?
And do you know if any lighting was adjusted to try to look for similarities or to try to enhance the pictures that we saw side by side in Exhibit 168?
Other than natural weather.
I'm sorry?
It was just the natural weather. It was a couple months, I believe, after the fact.
No, you're talking about at the time that it was taken, but at the time that the picture's taken and the still was produced, do you know if any lighting was adjusted to try to make two pictures either look similar or dissimilar or to enhance similarities?
I don't believe so.
You don't know that for a fact, though, because you were not the person that produced that, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, sir.
Okay. So just so ladies and gentlemen of the jury are clear, this is a creation that you did, or recreation, taking the motorcycle along the same path that the cost video shows, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the still picture is an image from the cost video and an image from your video to try to show that the two motorcycles have some similarities, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, did you also look at the marathon video?
I had not.
Do you know about the existence of a marathon video from a marathon gas station?
I believe so, yes.
Did you, well, so if you didn't see it, did you see any stills from that video to compare here to see if it seemed to be similar or not similar?
No, sir, I had not.
So you were basically handed the task of look at the cost video and recreate this to show a bike that looks as similar to that as possible, correct?
Yes, sir.
Just 1 second. Took a picture of the defendant next to his SUV and the shoes. There. May I ask you to step down
Sure.
here? I don't know if you want to bring the pointer. This is a picture of Mr. VanCallis from the Facebook, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you see his hair there? Or his head? Do you see any reddish or pinkish tint to it, or color?
Can't really tell. The resolution's not the greatest there.
Okay. And those shoes are black and white, right?
Yes.
And they look to be clean? Do you see any debris on the white area or anything on the black area that looks like it shouldn't be there?
I can't really tell, sir, with the resolution here on this photograph.
Okay, but just from what you see, not speaking to it, 100%, but just from what you see, you don't see any debris there. There's no clear debris of any sort on either of those shoes, correct?
I can't really tell you that. The resolution doesn't look the greatest here in the front.
Okay, Detective Keith, is it possible, first of all, to blow up just the head area a little bit? Does that help with the
No, no, sir.
Okay. If you could do the same thing with just the shoes. Does that, forget anything else, does it show somewhat cleanliness or no? They seem pretty clean?
The resolution doesn't look the greatest. I can't tell you yes or no.
Okay, let me ask you this, though. You do see a white pattern, right? Here, correct?
Yes.
And you do see the black for contrast, correct?
Okay.
Do you see any dark spots in either of these two predominantly white areas?
I mean, are you talking like a large dark spot? I think it's...
Any dark spot that could be indicative of any sort of oil or stain or debris or anything like that?
I don't believe that that's a fair photograph to look at with the resolution that way to tell if there's dirt on it or not.
Okay. Thank you. You can take that down, Mr. Keith. Thank you. Lieutenant April, I like the sound of that. As you sit here under oath, are you willing to say that those are the exact same two bikes?
No, I believe I stated similar.
Okay. Thank you. I have nothing further.
Thank you, sir.
Take care, sir.
To clarify one of Mr. Sheik's questions, the number of times, I guess, that you ran by foot power that bike past the camera, how many times did you do that yourself?
Oh, just once.
Just the one time?
Yes, sir.
How many times did the chief take that bike past that camera?
One time.
So it wasn't a number of times and you selected the best one?
That's correct, sir.
Just one time each?
Just one time.
Did those shoes look a little too well kept to be thrown out?
They appeared pretty white.
Thank you. No further questions.
That photograph that we just saw of the shoes, do you have any idea how long ago it was taken, when it was taken?
I do not.
Okay, so you don't know if it was a year, 2, or 3 prior to this incident on July 24, 2014, correct?
I could not tell you when it was posted. I do not.
Thank you. Nothing further.
At this time, Your Honor, I have no further redirect for Lieutenant Amber.
Okay, folks, we're going to take our lunch now, so we'll see you at 1:30. Have a great night.
All rise for the jury.